Hello, my good people, and good morning. So it's Monday, 8:38 a.m. East African time. It's a new week, and before I do the weekly outlook in a different video, I really wanted to cover the trade breakdown on gold. So I didn't do it over the weekend because uh, I had held several trades over the weekend, so I wanted them to play out, and then I wanted to do the video as one collective video covering all the trading opportunities that I had on gold last week. So I had 3 opportunities to trade. I had 3 setups, but I didn't take one. I missed one in reasons that I will explain as we go on. So I had three setups on gold, and I traded 2, and the 2 were wins. I just closed my last trade today in the morning at around 5:30 a.m. 5 a.m. 5 a.m. sharp or something. So let's get into the trade breakdowns. So to start with, I had a very good trade on Tuesday, a very good setup. Let's not call it a trade because I did not trade it. So I had a very good setup on Tuesday, and the reasoning behind the setup had been explained on the weekly outlook. So if you watched the weekly outlook, this will be uh, easier for you, and you can even skip this part and just jump to the part where I start explaining the trade breakdown itself. So on Monday, we had this up close candle which closed above the previous week high and so forth and so forth, and we had opened with this gap. So I expected the next day to be a bullish day, but if you remember, Monday was a bank holiday, so Tuesday is what we refer to as a post bank holiday trading day, and I tend to avoid those because from what I've learned and from mentors such as ICT, I learned that price might be distorted uh, on such days. So I tend to avoid trading on such days, but this was the setup. And I remember very well I mentioned this setup on the weekly outlook. I gave this setup on the weekly outlook. I gave everything because when I was doing the outlook, this setup was actually forming. So this was the setup. We had this last down close candle uh, from the previous day. Okay, so these were the last previous candle, down close candle. They had been traded against, and we had that 4-hour change in state of delivery, and price was still respecting. You can see that I had even already marked that. So you can see that we had this change in state of delivery, and then price on Monday, the PM session, the 4-hour PM session candle came and tapped into that change in state of delivery, and then we had another change in state of delivery right here as price was trading to the upside in the Tuesday Asia session, because you can see that this is 9 p.m. on Monday, so that is Tuesday Asian session. So I can mark that as a change in state of delivery. So that is a 4-hour change in state of delivery. So and then we had this long candle, and you know that I like to look for retracement within the next candle that will form. So this was where I wanted to look for retracements to trade out of. So let's just mark that candle so that we can go to lower time frames and try to see what we are looking at. So this was the 9 p.m, so it will run up to 1 a.m. So this should be the 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. candle. So let's go down to it and look. So I went to the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, let me delete this because you already know the times, the specific times. So the 1 a.m. candle closed right here. It closed with a small retracement, so we could take that as a retracement and use it as a 1-hour change in state of delivery, and that is exactly what in that case I used. I labeled that as a 1-hour change in state of delivery. I'm sure this is in the weekly outlook. I had that 1 hour change in state of delivery. But remember, on this day I'm very reluctant to trade, so I wasn't really looking to trade. I was just doing it for the sake of just analyzing the market. So after this 1 hour change in state of delivery, I went to the 15-minute to look for entry as price leaves the retracement leg, and this is exactly what we got. So you can see that at 1:30 we had that last down close candle, and then at 1:45 price was not able to close above it. But then during the 2 a.m. open candle, which is the beginning of the London kill zone, we had that up close candle, so which becomes now a 15-minute change in state of delivery. And as soon as I get that, just a minute, I think we had that change in state during the no, yes, okay, so that is the 15-minute change in state of delivery. And then you can see that price did not come back to tap that retracement. I did not get the retest to that, which would have been my entry. That is what I like to see. I like price to come back to that level, and then I can trade out of it. So we then got another retracement leg on a 15-minute time frame at 2:45. So I then mark that again as a 15-minute change in state of delivery. So as soon as we get that, and then we get this next candle at 3:15, which came to tap into that now that would have been my entry right there. And then normally, as I do, I would have targeted 3 standard deviations, and in that condition my take profits were at around 47, I remember. So my stop loss would have been slightly lower below, so probably there below the retracement leg that I have taken the entry on, and then target 47.47, which would have been right there. So it would have been a 3.8 hour trade, and you can see that it played out quite well. And even if maybe we go to the, it played out quite well. And looking at DXY, which is the dollar index, you can see that on Tuesday at 2 a.m. Price was also displacing to the downside, and we actually had this retracement, 1 hour retracement to the upside, and then price at that exact period in time, 2 a.m., which is the beginning of the London kill zone, we had this bearish change in state of delivery to the downside. So it would have confirmed the setup on gold because every time we see DXY displacing to the downside, I want to see gold displacing to the opposite of that. So you can see that the setup was confirmed on both DXY and XAUUSD. So it was also confirmed on silver, but because I just want to make this video short, I will just leave it there. So let's go to the next setup that I had that week, and I will go back to the 4-hour chart. So on the 4-hour chart, or maybe I should just begin from the daily chart so that you don't get lost, and just for the sake of top-down analysis, which is very important if you are aiming to be catching good moves, you really want to have the daily narrative. Okay, so on the daily chart, you can see that, just delete, should actually delete everything including this one because I've already taken the screenshots for that. So yes, okay, so on the daily chart we had Tuesday print a very bullish candle, and then on DXY we had the same thing. We had the opposite thing. We had the daily candle print a very bearish candle, and on the previous day we had formed on Monday we had formed a daily change in state of delivery, and then so Monday and then Tuesday we displaced to the downside, a very bearish candle. So I expected that continuation. Sorry, I expected that continuation on Wednesday. So on automatically on gold, I expected Wednesday to print a bullish candle and maybe reach for higher prices. That paired with the geopolitics that are happening, and I explained all that in the weekly outlook. So yes, I expected that continuation. So I went to lower time frames. That is all I needed to know on the daily chart. So I went to the 4-hour chart, and so let's see what we had on Wednesday. So Wednesday, this was the Tuesday, Wednesday Asia session. We had this up close to the upside, and then I was not trading during the London session on that day because that was when I was sharing the analysis. So when I came to the charts on Wednesday, I marked this imbalance on the 4-hour chart, and this was a 4-hour fair value gap. Let's just mark it with something grayish. Right. So we had this fair value gap, this 4-hour fair value gap to the downside, and I really wanted to see price get support from that level, support in quotes. I wanted to see price get support from this range, and you can see that we had already dipped into that candle on Wednesday at during the PM session, 4-hour PM session. Again, this is starting to look like the trade that I didn't take on Tuesday. So you can see those characteristics. So I went to the lower time frame because this is a down close candle, but it looks like a bullish candle on a 4-hour chart. So I wanted to see it better, and I went to a 1-hour chart, and on the 1-hour chart I found this beautiful bearish candle to the downside. So this is what I marked as my last down close candle, and I mentioned in my group on that day that I wanted to see price close above this level, the 48.50 level, which was the last 1 hour down close candle. And some people might be asking why this is not the last 1 hour, or this one, or this one, or this one. So we are looking at the last down close candle to dip all the way to lower levels. It's not just a candle within that range, but which one is the lowest in between those candles. So that was my last 1 hour down close candle, and I wanted to see price close above the 48.50 price level on a 1 hour chart, or a 4-hour on a 1 hour time frame, or a 4-hour time frame. And so on at around so this was a Thursday trade. Okay, I was explaining it as a Wednesday trade. Sorry about that. So Wednesday I didn't get any setup because price kept spooling to the downside, and we never got a change in state to the upside. Yes, now I remember. Now I remember. Okay. So I never got that change in state to the upside. So I never got a 4-hour change in state to the upside. So yes, because you see that the New York AM session, this is what we had, and price did not go back to the upside. So I moved that to the next day, and then that is when on Thursday we got that change in state to the upside. So I hope you have catched up with that. So back to the 1 hour, on Thursday at 10 we had this change in state to the upside. So this one became a 1 hour change in state of delivery immediately. So I will just label it as my 1 hour change in state of CISD, change in state of delivery. And then as soon as I got that, I went to the lower time frames, because now That's where we start cooking. So on my 1 hour chart, on this particular day, I actually didn't get an entry where I wanted. The first displacement to the upside left me behind, but no problem, we still got back at it. So after I got that 1 hour change in state of delivery, as usual, I am waiting for a 15-minute retracement, and as soon as price is leaving that 15-minute retracement, I am getting in that trade. So price rallied to the upside without a single retracement, but then at 11:45 we got that retracement, and this is actually not a good time to take a trade. So but on this day I was willing to take the risk. I don't like taking trades during the lunch session. So on the 15-minute we got this change in state of delivery, and then price rallied to the upside, leaving behind several imbalances. For example, this, and then we had this. I remember I shared a post on this. We had this. So these were areas that I really wanted to see price come into before continuing to the upside, but I also do not force price to come back to imbalances, because what I really just want to see is just some set of down close and then a change in state to the upside, and then I'm taking the trade. So this was during the lunch session, which runs from 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. So I did not take any trades right there, because also I didn't get a retracement. So during the PM session opening range, we started getting a retracement to the downside, which came up to 2:45 p.m. And then, but as price was unfolding, this occurred to be the last down close candle. So I marked that as my 15-minute change in state of delivery. Sorry. So this one was the last down close candle, and as soon as it was traded against, it became a 15-minute change in state of delivery. And then I told you that I am avoiding taking aggressive entries, because they really decrease the RR, and they also increase my risk. So I have been trying to avoid that. So I'm usually waiting for a retracement back to at least some level closer to the 15 minutes. So on this day I took the trade at 49.14, and I actually sent the I shared the entry to this trade particularly. So I took the trade right here, 49.14, and as usual my stop loss is slightly below the retracement leg, because sometimes we might retest that area, and I do not want the spreads to affect my position. So I do give it an allowance of maybe 5 to 10 pips or so, and I used a fib to project the targets, and this is what I got. And so my first targets were at 49.36, TP3 49.74, and usually I get 50% of between this and this, just to get my TP2, which was at 49.54. So you might be wondering how I got the 49.54, which I shared in my group. So that is how I got it. So that is just a fib. If you would like to learn about how I calibrate my fib, you can DM me. Those are services that I offer to my mentorship students. So TP, this was a take profit 49.54. So I'm just showing you how I calibrated the take profits. So 49.36, 49.54, and further 49.78 or something, and so forth and so forth. So those were my targets on that particular day. So this is what happened. I was targeting around 49.78, but price didn't get there. So you have to be fluid with these markets. If you see anything that you don't like, you just take your trades off and so forth. So that is how I entered the trade, and then the trade ran up to TP1 before the daily close, which is 49.36. You can see that we took that at 4:30. Sorry, we took that at 4:30 p.m., which is just few minutes to the close, and then I moved this stop loss higher to protect those profits. So I think I moved it to, let me just confirm with my channel. Yes, 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 yes. Uh, I moved the stop loss to 49.03. Yes, I remember. I starting to remember. Wait a minute. 49.03. Where is it? No, the original stop loss was at 49.03. So I think I moved it to 49.11. Yes. Okay, so that is where my stop loss was now, and you can see that as soon as you move your stop loss, the risk to reward ratio increases. So maybe sometimes I should be taking more entries at this level, but that is some mathematics for another day. So yes, that is how I took that trade. Let's review how I actually ended up closing the trade without waiting for the last take profit. So as soon as I take the trade, I usually manage it on a 1 hour and 4 hour levels. So you can see that between the 7 p.m. candle and the 8 p.m. candle, we had this retracement to the downside, which not a retracement, we had a close below the last up close candle. So that became a bullish change instead of the bearish change instead of delivery. And soon as I saw that, I'll just delete this. Soon as I saw that, this right here, that became a kama niko na homa guys. So that became a 1 hour change instead to the downside. So I closed that trade right there because price was starting to give me signs of retracing to the downside, and I did not want to be part of that. Additionally, on DXY, let's just go to DXY. So this is Thursday between 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. 7 p.m. and 8 p.m. Yes, 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 yes. You can see that we had a bullish candle. We had what? Yes, we had this bullish candle, another bullish candle. So price was starting to show some signs of maybe trading to the upside, and we had a daily fair value gap right here. So it was a point of interest, and maybe price wanted to retest that. So I did not want to be part of that retracement. So I closed my trade right there. On the total of that trade ended up being a 3.6 risk to reward ratio, and it was a fairly it was actually a very good trade because from I got in at let's go back to the entries, 15 minutes. So because I got in at, let's look at it where I got in at 49 49.14, should be 49.14. Oh yes, 49.14 up to close the trade at 49.54, and then 54 again because price came back to that level. So that was quite a good trade, around 3.6 risk to reward ratio. So that was my trade on Thursday. So let's go to my trade I took on the last day of the week, which was Friday, and I held the trade over the weekend. This one it was a very good trade, very good setup. I loved it. So with everything going on again geopolitically, I was really, or I still am very bullish on gold. So when I got that setup on a 4-hour chart, I did not hesitate to take it. So this was the setup. This will be a quick one because it was quite clear. And let's just go to the daily chart again and just start there. So on a daily, again on Thursday, we had this bullish candle closed above the previous day. Then on DXY, we had the same thing on Thursday, and then we actually had this daily change in state of delivery right here. So on Thursday, we had a daily change in state of delivery to the downside. So as soon as I saw that, we had this daily change in state of delivery to the downside. So I was sure that price was going to sweep these lows, these daily low, daily swing low. So I wanted price to reach those levels, and as soon as I saw that, that was a confirmation that we were going to pump higher on Friday on gold. So I went down to the 4-hour chart to look for a retracement which I can trade out of, and as soon as I went to the 4-hour, I found that the London kill zone had a very nice retracement, which is a very ideal condition to form the daily. This is what we call the daily low formation on a classic bullish day, where the London kill zone gives you the daily low, and then we come and trade to the upside during the New York AM or PM session, and so forth. So this is what we had. We had that retracement to the downside, and then the New York AM session. This is the 5 a.m. to around 9 a.m. did not give us any change in state delivery to the upside, but then we had this the New York AM session now, which runs from around 9 or 10 a.m. depending on your broker. Or so this one runs from this the original New York AM session, and this is now where we got the change. Its 4-hour candle gave us a 4-hour change in state of delivery to the upside, and looking at DXY for that further confirmation, we had this 4-hour change in state of delivery, and you can see that I wrote here that the 4-hour bearish change in state of delivery formed, and I expect that level to hold price to the downside. So I wanted to see this level hold price to the downside because this is a 4-hour change in state of delivery to the downside. So, and I am seeing the opposite on this one. So everything was good to go, and I was just waiting for my positions to I was just waiting for my entries. So I went down to the 15-minute to start looking for entries. And so this was a PM session trade. And additionally, this was a market structure shift because you can see that we have swept this high right here. This was a market structure shift to the upside on even on a higher time frame. So we had closed above it on a 1 hour and so forth. So I was quite bullish about it. So yes, I came to the 15-minute chart where I started looking for entries. So let's just go through it together. So yes, this was my last trade of the week. So I was looking for a last down close candle because remember I do not trade during the lunch session, so I was waiting for the lunch session to end, which ended right here at 1:30. So I can even mark that as our 1:30, 13:30. So we had that, and then because I can't this is the last down close candle, but then it seems that we had another down close candle, but it has printed a bullish candle. So I went to the 30-minute to try and find a better down close candle than that one, and I found it on a 30-minute candle. It gave me a better view of the last down close candle because I prefer it to be a bearish printed candle. So you can see that on the 15-minute, this is the down close, but it looks like a bullish candle. So I do not like to use that one to frame my change in state of delivery. So I went to a higher time frame, which is the 30-minute. So you can never go wrong with a higher time frame. So instead of going lower, I went to a higher time frame, which gave me this, and then that is where I was waiting for my 30-minute change in state of delivery. So 30-minute CISD, and you can see that at 2:30 I got that 30-minute change in state of delivery, which was the level above 48.78. Another important level that I was looking at was this 49.83, which was also a very important level, and we did close above that using the same candle. And as soon as I saw that, that was a confirmation for me to put my limits here. And as soon as that was hit, my entries were triggered. Same as the other trades, my stop loss is just below the retracement leg low. Then again, I usually use the fib tool to calibrate my targets, which gave me 5007 and then 5068, which we just hit that take profit right now in the morning. And then the other one was 5085, which is why I mentioned the 5090 level in the morning. So those were my targets, and just calibrate that 5080, wait, 5090, 5090. That was my final TP at 4RR 5007. Where is it? Okay, so TP1. I did have take profit too on this trade. I just wanted it to reach TP3 or TP2. I didn't give on this particular trade. I didn't look for that in between level between the one standard deviation and a 3 standard deviation. I just went direct to the 3 standard deviation because I wanted to capitalize on the new week opening gap and new week opening momentum, which I expected because of basically just what has been happening geopolitically, and if the technicals align, why not? So that was my final trade of the week. You can see that I didn't get anything before the week ended. The day ended, markets closed before we got anything, but on the new week open, which was today, early in the morning, we got that TP1. TP1 was swept, and then price rallied to the upside, hit TP2, and then rallied high again, and then hit my final take profit 5090. This trade was shared on my free Telegram channel, so if you're not there, kindly join. So that is it on gold. So that is how I traded last week's price action, and I look forward to trading this week's price action. And yeah, so stay tuned, and if you have not joined my channel, tap on the link which is in the description. And thank you for watching this video. You can also share my videos, like my videos, and subscribe. I will be posting the weekly outlook on gold and US 100 and 500 later today, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for joining. Have a beautiful week ahead.